0 to 60 times. Horsepower figures, torquey curves, spec sheets can lie, but the driver's seat never does. After putting 50,000 miles on this year's most hyped vehicles, I've discovered some painful truths about 2025's lineup.
Oh my god.
That German luxury badge you've been eyeing? The hybrid crossover your neighbor won't shut up about? That legendary Japanese reliability? Let's cut through the marketing hype and talk about what these cars are really like when the test drive ends and real ownership begins.
Okay.
Ever wondered why some cars with legendary badges are mysteriously quiet in enthusiast circles? That's because not every popular vehicle deserves the hype. Let's cut through the marketing fluff and get real about which cars you should skip this year and what you should drive instead. The Ford Escape Hybrid looks promising until you get behind the wheel. The powertrain management feels like it's running on Windows 95. That touchscreen lag is brutal, and the throttle response is about as exciting as watching paint dry. The front seats feel like they were designed by someone who's never taken a corner at speed. Skip this one and grab the Honda CR-V Hybrid instead. Honda's got the hybrid system dialed in perfectly, 35 mpg with actual performance credentials. The chassis is properly sorted and the power delivery is smoother than a freshly detailed hood. The Jeep Grand Cherokee L is the next disappointment, and this one hurts because Jeep usually nails it. But 19 mpg in 2025, that V6 sounds like it's trying to harmonize with a vacuum cleaner, and the acceleration wouldn't impress a loaded dump truck. The Toyota Highlander Hybrid is the move here. 35 mpg, proper power delivery, and $5,000 cheaper. Plus, Toyota's chassis tuning actually remembers that corners exist. Now, let's talk about the Mercedes-Benz GLC, and man, this one's a heartbreaker. Priced between $49K and $91K, you'd expect mechanical excellence.
Oh, hell no!
Instead, you get transmission programming that feels unfinished and brakes that are about as precise as throwing darts blindfolded. The Lexus NX Hybrid is the real player here. 38 mpg, faster 0 to 60 times, and technology that actually works. The chassis balance is spot on, and the power delivery is exactly what you'd expect from a proper luxury performance crossover. The Chrysler Pacifica PHEV proves that not all electrification is created equal. The powertrain integration feels like it was coded during a lunch break.
Thank you, Shaq.
You get this weird hesitation between electric and gas modes that makes smooth driving nearly impossible. Floor it from a stop and there's a solid second of thinking before anything happens. The regenerative braking calibration is all over the place, sometimes giving you sports car level deceleration, other times barely slowing you down at all. And don't get me started on the reliability ratings. They make Italian cars look bulletproof. We're talking electrical gremlins that would make Lucas Electronics blush. The Kia Carnival though, that's a different story. The new hybrid powertrain for 2025 is properly sorted. The transition between electric and gas power is seamless, with a combined output of 327 horsepower that actually gets put down to the pavement effectively. The chassis is surprisingly capable. McPherson's strut front suspension with a multi-link rear setup that's been tuned by engineers who clearly understand vehicle dynamics. Body roll is controlled, turn-in is precise. Yes, I'm talking about a minivan here, and the electric power steering actually provides meaningful feedback. The build quality is rock solid, with panel gaps that would make German luxury brands jealous.
Are you serious?
Plus, it doesn't try to hide what it is. It's a minivan that's been engineered to actually drive well, with a focus on both performance and practicality. Volkswagen Jetta. Oh man, how the mighty have fallen. Remember when German engineering meant something? This isn't that. The 1.5-liter turbocharged engine looks decent on paper with 158 horsepower, but the power delivery is about as linear as a politician's promises. There's noticeable turbo lag below 2,500 RPM, followed by an unpredictable surge of power that makes smooth driving a constant challenge. The steering feel is number than a dentist's Novocaine. There's zero communication about what the front wheels are doing, and the ratio feels oddly variable even though it's not a variable rack. The chassis tuning feels like they forgot to finish it. The damping is poorly matched to the spring rates, resulting in a car that neither rides nor handles particularly well. It bounces over expansion joints like a pogo stick, yet still manages to roll like a sailboat in corners. Save yourself the headache and get a Mazda 3. 24 grand gets you the sweet 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine with 191 horsepower that loves to rev and delivers power with the kind of linear progression that reminds you why naturally aspirated engines are so satisfying. The steering feel reminds you why you love driving. Proper weight build-up through corners, clear communication about available grip, and a perfectly chosen 14.3.1 ratio. The chassis has been tuned by people who actually care about handling. G-Vectoring Control Plus that subtly adjusts engine torque to load up the front tires entering corners. McPherson struts up front with a sophisticated torsion beam rear setup that somehow manages to both ride and handle better than the Jetta's multi-link rear. The build quality would make Stuttgart jealous, with interior materials and assembly precision that punch way above its weight class. The Genesis G70 looks like a proper sports sedan until you actually live with it. On paper, that 3.3-liter twin-turbo V6 with 365 horsepower sounds promising, and the initial test drive might fool you, but spend some quality time with it and the issues become clear. The throttle mapping is inconsistent. Sometimes you get all the power, sometimes it feels like half the turbos decided to take a coffee break.
Awful, I hate it!
The ZF 8-speed transmission, which works brilliantly in other applications, feels like it's running outdated software here. Upshifts are lazy in comfort mode and weirdly aggressive in sport mode, with no happy medium. The cabin feels like it was designed for people who skip leg day. The transmission tunnel is unnecessarily wide, the footwell is cramped, and the seat bolsters are positioned for someone built like a T-Rex. And the reliability, well, let's just say you'll be on first-name terms with your service advisor and their entire extended family. The Audi A4 is what you want. Proper German engineering that hasn't forgotten its roots. The 2.0-liter turbo might be down on power compared to the Genesis, 261 horsepower, but it's how that power is delivered that matters. The throttle response is crisp and predictable, with minimal turbo lag and a broad torque curve that peaks at 273 lb-ft from just 1,600 RPM.
That's impressive. That's really good. I mean, I'm very impressed by that.
The dual-clutch S-tronic transmission is a masterclass in how to program a gearbox. Lightning-quick shifts when you want them, smooth as butter when you don't. The chassis talks to you constantly through a perfectly weighted steering rack, progressive brake pedal, and damping that always feels one step ahead of the road. The cabin actually fits humans of all sizes, with ergonomics that prove the Germans still know a thing or two about interior packaging. And reliability. You won't have to memorize the tow truck's number or explain to your significant other why you're on a first-name basis with the service department. Again. Finally, let's talk about the Toyota Tacoma. Never thought I'd say this about a Toyota, but they missed the mark. The ride quality would make a rally car feel luxurious.
No. 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 Hell no. 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 I refuse. No. No.
And that engine note sounds like it's auditioning for a horror movie soundtrack. The Honda Ridgeline is the smart play here. It's got a proper independent rear suspension that actually knows what to do with bumps, a powertrain that's been properly sorted, and engineering that prioritizes both capability and comfort. Here's the bottom line, fellow enthusiasts. The badge on the hood doesn't tell the whole story anymore. Some of these manufacturers are resting on their laurels, while others are quietly building legitimately great vehicles. The key is to look past the marketing and focus on the engineering. Every car we talked about today proves that sometimes the best choice isn't the most obvious one. Remember, these aren't just commuter appliances we're talking about. These are machines that we're supposed to enjoy driving. The right car should make you look back at it every time you park it. It should reward you for taking the long way home, and most importantly, it should prove its worth every time you press that start button. Whether you're looking for a hybrid that doesn't feel like a compromise, a luxury vehicle that actually delivers on its promises, or a truck that doesn't try to shake your fillings loose, there's a proper driver's car out there for you. You just need to know where to look. That's the real talk about 2025's most overhyped vehicles. The automotive world is changing fast, but one thing remains constant. There's no substitute for solid engineering and proper development. Choose wisely and you'll end up with a car that doesn't just meet expectations, it exceeds them.